Hello folks, I thought I'd try and do a short garden tour. It is August 2nd, and so it's getting late in the season and it's late in the day. But this is my favorite time of day out in the garden. It's cool. The bugs haven't really set in too badly yet. So I was just going to show off. I haven't done a lot of, everything's a disaster. It's all overgrown and it's been very hard to keep a handle on. Not what I'm used to from where I moved from. So it's kind of like complaining about having too much bounty because it really is pretty wonderful. So as you can see, I just want to show all this stuff off. So all of the asparagus that I planted have sprouted and are like massive fronds, and they keep sprouting even new ones. So it's mint. You just got to cut that like every week or two. And it just all grows back. And then these are my early girl tomatoes, so you won't see anything red here because I've just been through and harvested today for the most part. And it's going to rain really hard starting tonight, so I want to get anything that might burst off. So these two cherry tomatoes are, they've gotten so large they're falling over. I'm trying to hold them up with a variety of bamboo poles, and it's just kind of barely keeping them up. But as you can see, I've got dozens and dozens of fruits on both plants. This cherry tomato, this is the baby boomer, I think, and you can see it's also collapsed under its own weight, especially back there. And I don't care, whatever, it's still fine. I just lift it up and pick off the tomatoes as they ripen. This is the one that was kind of my test tomato, and you can see it's got like blossoms on it and some fruit, but look at that's it. I mean, I haven't got I have 2 or 3 ripe fruit and they all tasted funny. So, that soil was literally just terrible. Although, only for tomatoes, because look at this kale. Like, that is beautiful, beautiful kale. The kale did fine in this pot. We have been having, I forget what they're called. Oh, there's probably one on here, I bet, somewhere. It's the first time I've ever had to deal with tomato hornworms. I don't really care about this plant. I'm kind of ready to just cut it actually and let the kale take over the pot. You can see the kale over here too, popping out, doing fine. So that's cool over here, past my disaster area where I store everything. You can see I've been harvesting today, so I've already got all of this stuff: strawberries, ground cherries, pickling cucumbers, both kinds. There's white ones under there too, full-size cucumbers, full-size tomatoes, and a gazillion cherry tomatoes. So basically everything. I've got so many eggplant, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. I cut some the other day. I'm going to try and roast some tonight here when I go back inside. So again, these plants got pretty eaten. I put the BT on here, which is why they have this brown powder on them, and I have not seen very many of those beetles since then. 1 or 2 here or there. So here are the habaneras, which I am getting some peppers. It's not as loaded as I would like. I'm still having a lot of blossom drop, but there's enough on here to make us happy. On all the plants too, they're all doing fine. Even this little one has a couple of little peppers on it, so it's fine. I'm going to back up here. I got 21 pounds of potatoes out of this bed, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the bed isn't deep. Do remember that we had put cardboard and all of this bark chip down, so that really is the depth. So the 21 pounds of potatoes were really in about 8 inches, maybe even only 6 inches of soil. This isn't a very deep bed, so I'm pretty happy with that. They all did really, really well. Same with the strawberries. As you can see, they really took off. I just came through and picked anything that was remotely ripe. I've left a few in here if they look like they need another day or two. It's always a trick because sometimes I come out here, look, there's a bug ate that one. You lose a few like that, so that's okay. The vast majority of these are untouched by insects, but I do lose 2 or 3 a day, I would say, to the insects. That one looks ripe though, look at that. I'm gonna bring that with me. So Yeah, that keeps happening, but I'll let that one sit another day. Like I said, there's always that risk when you let them sit like that. Like, that's a really nice big berry, and I'm afraid if I come out tomorrow and harvest it, it's going to be eaten by a bug or a raccoon or a bird. But it is what it is. So I'm still getting tons of cucumbers. Not as many as I were, a week ago. I was getting, I canned 12 pounds, 9 pounds of pickling cucumbers, but I'm still getting enough every day. I'm kind of saving them up for like a week. There's a bunch down here, and I'll save them up until I've got enough to do another batch, and that'll probably be the last batch I do of actually canning for the winter of the pickling cucumbers, because that'll give me a lot. Still got plenty of these big guys in here. As a matter of fact, more of the large ones than we can even eat. Even though we just love cucumbers, we were just overloaded with cucumbers. So, and yeah, I've kind of let everything get out of control, like I said. I did net these melons, so I've got 2 on here that are growing, and for some reason they seem to start growing a little late. This is weird, the way that these pollinate and then grow. Okay, that one did not pollinate clearly because it's kind of turning yellow. Why will the camera not focus? Whatever. Anyway, so I'm still going to get a couple of melons off there. I've netted them with room to grow. I don't want, I would be devastated to come out and have these destroyed by insects, so they're protected. I've already got tons of tomatoes off. This is still one of my favorite tomatoes. Next year I'm going to plant multiples of Stupiczka. It grows, it's the first tomato I get that's like a full-size-ish tomato, and it is big enough to make a sandwich. And they're also just amazing, and they're never mealy. It doesn't matter what temperatures you're getting, hot, cold. It stays like a very juicy, sweet, silky, smooth tomato. It really is an amazing tomato. This is that pink, I want to say. Oh, look, there's some color in there. Not enough for me to cut it quite yet. So hopefully it'll survive. Yeah, I can see. Hopefully those will survive through the next couple of days of rain. So you can see here, we pulled these back. James came out and helped me. This whole area was all overgrown. I couldn't get in here. So we started trying to pull it back and tie these up a little bit more. Some of that took damage, like pretty bad damage there. But also found a lot of these tomato hornworm, which you can see what they do. They just strip the branches. And right in the front here, we had a bunch. And again, it's not a pest I'm used to. So once we discovered it, though, we hunted them all down and murdered them. Yay. So hopefully we won't see any more. Every morning I come out and check to see if I can find 1 or 2 more usually. This plant, I've already got so many tomatoes off of this Oxheart pink tomato. Same with my cherries. You can see there's still some with a little color, but I just came through and picked most of these. Even back there's some. And yeah, same over here. These are the black cherries are finally ripening. Look at the size of, first of all, the size of the fruit is huge. And second of all, tons of fruit growing backwards onto the trellis. It's been kind of crazy, like I said. Well, next year we'll have to tie these up better because they're really out of control. So I was going to back up and show you, speaking of, so those are the sunflowers. Those headed a while back. You can see a lot of them are already kind of dying. That's the black sunflower. These yellow sunflowers, we're trying to guess how tall they are. James says he thinks maybe 15 feet now, that tallest one. No mosquitoes, sorry. And it might be. It is like Alice in Wonderland sized. Excuse me. I'll sneak back here, try and get a better shot of. I like planting the black and yellow ones together though, because they do kind of come up at slightly different heights. But yeah, I definitely owe an apology to the, I don't know, the garden center with the sandy soil. Obviously it had plenty of fertilizer in it because yikes. Here's the rest of the asparagus. I haven't uncovered this yet. I should uncover this tonight. It's getting really overgrown in here, and now that we're not having problems with the beetles, I can open it up. It should be fine. I've let everything go. Most of the basil I have allowed to blossom like this. I am trying to keep the sweet basil from blossoming though. It looks messy, but it's covered in dill seed or dill pollen. Yeah. Anyway, so God, I love basil. Okay, what else? Nothing much. I never got any more squash than the initial 2 on each of these that formed. Nothing else pollinated on these, and they haven't been forming anything else, and I'm fine with that. Again, I wasn't I've never grown acorn squash, so getting 4 total is perfectly great. The rest of the tomatoes in here, you can see so I've been trying to cut these, top them anyway, so that they stop growing up, and yet I've still lost control of some of these plants. Doing my best. Kind of overwhelmed. Down here we have more colors. I think this is the Dr. Wychees, which I've got a couple of. They have been pretty good. None of my fully grown tomatoes have been spectacularly tasting yet this summer, so I don't remember if that happened before. I think that can be an issue though. The first couple tomatoes taste a little wonky. As you can see, my herb pot is out of control also. I have stopped getting a gazillion squash a day. It's become more reasonable, although, oh my God, I haven't cut squash in a couple days. And, speaking of, looks like something got to that one, but that's okay. Squash is certainly something I can share with the animals. If they want 1 or 2, you're welcome to it. This plant has finally kind of tired out, where it had 16 squash. We've harvested all 16, and I think there's just 1 or 2 on here now. Yeah, down here you can see a few forming. So I feel a little better about how many squash we're getting, but these plants, as you can see, are still healthy. No powdery mildew, no problems with pests. Just keep getting bigger and bigger and growing further and further out. And I will have to come out here and cut squash tomorrow. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Those aren't so big. Over here, I did intentionally let the mustard seed or bolt, because I want the seeds. I want to actually harvest the seeds and have mustard seed for pickling. But when I did that, it overgrew this poor little teeny pepper that never got very big. So I've got a couple of big peppers down here, but they're not. Oh wait, that one's maybe starting to finally turn color, just ever so slightly. Yeah, it's got a little color on it. All right, yay, finally. Same with these. They're still not turning colors. I don't know. Got lots and lots of peppers, but they're all still green. But all of the pepper plants have started to, create plenty of peppers. The second pepper plant, though, only has like 3 peppers on it. I don't know why. And this one has like 50. They're right next to each other. Oh, I'm filming, but only like for
a horror show.
You feel like a horror show. It's for like your mom and my dad. You want to say hi?
No.
I'm going to show the eggplant over here. So these are the full-size eggplants, like Black Beauties. And I don't even know how many I've got on there. Between the 2 plants, like a dozen. And over here are the ground cherries. I'm almost done. And James is probably out here hunting the hornworms. He's really good at spotting them. Better than I am. So yeah, back up for the ground cherry. So, huge plant. I have to check all the different, because they fall down. That's how you know they're ripe. You're not supposed to pick them. They look like that. And when they get to about this stage, they'll start falling on their own, and then you just pick them up off the ground. Oh, well, that one fell. And, oh, there's one in there. Can you see that? I don't know how to reach that. That's way in there. That keeps being a problem with this, actually. See, here's my bee balm, which also, look how big that got. Everything out here grows like that. Like it's out of control, jungle level growth. Okay, I saw one on the ground in here, over by the carrots. Look, there it is. Ta-da! And speaking of, you see my carrots and my onions in here. I haven't harvested them yet. And I desperately need to because they're a friggin' mess. Yeah, see, like the onions are just kind of like they're knocking over the carrots. And anyway, so after the rain, I will be doing that. And I guess that's the whole thing. I'm all done. That was like every plant in my garden. I probably talked way too long. So, okay, everybody. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.